Long ago, the lands were untamed and roamed by legendary adventurers. But villainy ran rampant. In a time, even the most stalwart heroes fell. In the absence of champions, the Enchantress and her Order of No Quarter swept into power. Unbeknownst to everyone, the maniacal alchemist Plague Knight had plans of his own. He sought nothing less than to concoct a potion of unlimited power. A draft so fiendishly potent that nothing he desired would be out of his reach. Each knight unknowingly guards a crucial ingredient. Now, the collection must begin. Uh-oh, the boss is on his way. We've got to get back to the lab fast. I don't want to get experimented on. Just hold extra charge and bomb us out of here. Come on, hurry up. What a tutorial, making our employees feel threatened. Hey everyone, welcome to Shovel Knight Plague of Shadows. I have been promising to do this for, 2-3 years now? I probably said something along the lines of, I'm gonna do Plague of Shadows soon, or at least when it comes out, at the end of my Shovel Knight playthrough, but I kinda just never did. And there's a lot of reasons, and that's stuff I'll get into, over the course of the playthrough. But, let's talk about Shovel Knight, let's talk about Plague Knight, the protagonist of Plague of Shadows. He plays very differently than Shovel Knight, as you can probably already tell. But first, I need to talk about the health system, because here, we're gonna get some health tonics. You can hold 5 of these, and you'll notice that I only have 4 hits on my health bar. That might not seem too unusual, but look what happens when I use a health tonic. I gain 1 green orb in line with my white orbs. And I'm just referring to the color of the outline there because that's the easiest way to refer to them. Those white orbs are consistent health, ooh, man, okay, that was close. Consistent health. So, I have, for the whole game, I will at least have 4 health. Though I can also use health tonics to give a slight temporary upgrade, and that green orb will go away when I get hit. It can also be replenished with food. When you use a health tonic when there's a white orb missing, it will simply replenish one of the white orbs. So the green orbs can go away forever, and you'll have to use another health tonic to replenish them, rather than bring them back. And for now, we can only hold 5 health tonics. So it's sort of they're like healing items, kind of like the Ichor, the red Ichor in normal Shovel Knight, but much less effective. It's a very different health system than Shovel Knight, but that's not the most unique thing from in Plague of Shadows. The most unique thing is Plague Knight himself. Again, he plays very differently from Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight's main attack was a close-range shovel swing. Plague Knight's main attack is throwing a vial at his enemies that bounces on the floor for a little bit and explodes after a certain amount of time, or explodes on impact with an enemy. In the air, it throws it straight down, well, not straight down, but down diagonally ahead of Plague Knight, and on the ground, it throws it in an arc in front of him, a slight arc, mind. So, combat isn't exactly Plague Knight's strong suit, in theory, but the movement options are what make Plague Knight effective in combat. You can hold the attack button to do a bomb burst, which basically sends Plague Knight shooting up or forward in the direction you're holding. So, it can also be used to break blocks and such and deal damage. So, the main thing with Plague of Shadows is movement. And that's really fun, to be honest with you, finding ways around your enemy to be able to hit them most effectively. We also now have these green coins in these levels that are called Cipher Coins. Most levels, all the main levels at least, have 30 of them to find, and they will be used for things later we'll get into. But there is another thing to look out for in the levels. Though, of course, we still have music sheets, and in the applicable levels, we'll still have relic equivalents to look out for, though they do still add new things to the game in that way. So, in terms of story, Plague of Shadows is, I guess, supposed to be a side story to Shovel Knight, sort of like, Shovel Knight Gaiden or something? Or is it supposed to be an alternate universe? Honestly, I don't know. There's a few inconsistencies that make it not possible to be a side story, but, like, having I personally like the idea of it being an AU more, because it's like, why not? But then things just don't really line up. I mean, it could just be a completely non-canon story, but, whatever. We'll get into that. But Plague of Shadows, Plague Knight in general, is really fun, but the learning curve is significant. Going into Plague of Shadows, the planes aren't probably going to be that big of a deal. The planes are actually a very good stage here. They very well teach you Plague Knight's mechanics. The stage is fairly well redesigned for Plague Knight to teach you, how to move around as him, how to attack as him. It's actually a really, really good version of the planes made for Plague Knight. But you'll notice that a lot of the level design and architecture is very similar. Like, here we usually would have had bubble. Actually, I think this would have been like a fairly... Like, there would have been a longer platform here, there would have been a skeleton on it. It's not how we only have a thin platform, and we have to bomb burst and throw vials our way through that. But this room is exactly the same. They kind of pick and choose what they do and do not change for Plague Knight in Plague of Shadows. Which is both interesting to see, to compare the differences between how you'd play Plague Knight and how you'd play Shovel Knight. But at the same time, well, these levels simply aren't built for Plague Knight. I'm kind of getting all my rambling out of the way now, but, well, I have a lot of opinions on Plague of Shadows. There's a reason this took me a long time to do, and, well, whatever. So we still have all these chests and levels. We also still have music sheets. An interesting note about music sheets is you'll notice I didn't give... I have the bios again for, like, collectibles, like music sheets and such. But you'll notice I didn't give, like, a song name for that. The way music sheets are handled is very different, and we'll be getting to that very soon. I'm going to go and use another health tonic here, because there's one we can pick up here to replenish that, so now I have 6 units of health, and our first boss. Listen to me, Magicist. I know you're aiding him in his quest for the ultimate potion. Ultimate... what? I haven't seen him since he fled to join the Order of No Quarter. Ah, alchemical trickery. You can't fool me. I know he plans to use the potion to beguile you. What? Me? What are you insinuating? Oh, someone's coming! Oh, it's the panicky pushover. Is winning the Magicist's heart worth betraying your allies? What? Where in the world did you hear that? And I know how you plan to gather ingredients. The only thing worse than a deranged alchemist is a traitor. No, do what you will with the Order, but none threaten the Enchantress and live. So, Plague Knight... So, Black Knight's still sort of just looking out for the Enchantress in Plague of Shadows. He's really no different, besides that he's also kind of more sassy, calling... Well, he's not... this is sassy, actually. He's kind of the same exact character. Good character, though, still. And the battle's actually a little bit more difficult than the one with Shovel Knight, though that's not saying too much, considering you can sort of just lock him in a corner with Shovel Knight. You can't exactly do that, at least not easily, with Plague Knight. And this gives you just a taste of... Combat is very different in Plague of Shadows. It's like a weird mix of close-range combat and long-range combat, because you need to both get in order to throw your vials and dodge the enemy, because your vials, aren't super long-range, and use bomb bursts against the enemy, but you also want to be long-range, because you don't really have a very reliable close-range attack. The combat in Plague of Shadows is very interesting, to say the least. But anyway, with that done, we can now head to the village. And as we try to head in... Halt! No weapons allowed! Wait a minute. Let's just pretend I don't recognize you, and you go safely on your merry way. This doesn't have to get messy. And don't show your creepy bird face around here again, freak. You can see all the villagers flee from us as they approach the entrance. Including this big burly guy. Even he runs away. But we can try to enter the village and... Halt! Maybe you didn't hear me through that mask. We already had this conversation, pal. You're not supposed to be here. Now get lost before I lose my patience. We could try again. And he does the same thing. So we're not allowed in the village. Luckily, there's a convenient arrow guiding us this way. And I don't know who this guy is. What is his name? Hedge Pupil. I honestly have no idea what this character even is supposed to be. But anyway. Hey, Plague Knight. I'm still guarding your secret entrance. But I lost the key. The locksmith should be here in a week or two. Maybe we could wait until then? Okay. Nope. So how do we get into here? Well, conveniently, the hedge pupil has stored bombs near the house. Why he thought this was a good idea? But anyway, we use the bombs and just blow up the house. And oh man, he's so distressed. Well, I guess I'm canceling the locksmith appointment. It's just the house I grew up in. Poor guy. We'll never be talking to you again. So as we head down here, before we go anywhere, we want to blow up this left wall, because there's a music sheet. That one took me forever to find. That one is not really obvious that it's there, but as we kind of climb under the village here, we see Shovel Knight heading in. And he's going to talk to... He's going to completely ignore the bard? What are you doing, man? Okay, I guess he's not progressing anywhere. Mona, we have a big problem on our hands. We even found out. Oh, the Black Knight thing? Yeah, Magister's filled me in. Don't worry, you Beak. That fool has nothing on us. Look, all we need to worry about is those final ingredients. We're stuck languishing here in obscurity until then. Yes, the essences. I shall pay our friends a little visit and borrow them. Right. And while you're doing that, I'll keep researching ways to get more. Bang for a buck. You know what they say? The bigger the explosion, the better the alchemist. Yes. Let's get to work. So yeah, Mona, the girl who in Shovel Knight only hosted a weird bottle minigame, is now a central character in Plague of Shadows, and that is really cool. And even the Magicist becomes a story important character. Whoa, these lifts never cease to both amuse and nauseate. Truly a dizzying display of technology. Anyway, welcome back to the Potionarium. So, what are we working on? Mona is your shop. So, research. We basically need to give her cipher coins to do research, but she needs 40 and we only have 30, so that's kind of useless right now. But we can also shop for things, and yeah, that's a lot of options. Plague of Shadows, instead of simply giving you one relic per stage, and then, you know, health and magic upgrades in between stages with some, like, armor and stuff that's ultimately superficial, this is changing entirely how you play the game, and they give you a lot of options. So, I have planned this out very carefully. So before the next stage, I want to buy, and I would suggest you do the same if you're going to follow my thing of going to the Lich Yard first, as I will be doing, is I would at least buy the lob casing. This is going to be super helpful against, well, the boss at least, of the next stage. After that, you can kind of buy whatever you want, but, well, actually there's not much more here I really need. Tracer powder is pretty good, but I'm going to hold off on buying that to see if I have the money to do so, because there is one other thing I do absolutely want to buy. But let's show off the lob casing first. So instead of just throwing it in a simple arc right in front of us, we throw it in an arc high above us. And it's the same thing in the air. So helpful in some situations. But we have a postman here, which apparently got a special delivery, which is the bait bomb, essentially Plague Knight's equivalent of the fishing rod, which I am going to get immediately. So, the relic equivalent in Plague of Shadows are Arcana, and the way Arcana work are very different. You'll notice under the power at the top. When I throw a bait bomb, it turns into an orange bar. Yes, instead of having a set number of magic, you have replenishing magic that you can only use so many times in a row. I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean to do that. When the bar turns orange, it means that it's going to be, basically that's your last use before it's going to drain the entire bar. When it's red, that means you cannot use magic at all, and you'll also see the bait bomb there is X'd out. When green, it means you're perfectly fine to use it. So we can also talk to the, well, I guess we can't do that yet. Oh. Okay. So anyway, the Magicist here. From her, after she finishes talking about being interrogated, we can purchase health tonics as well as magic upgrades, so we can extend our magic bar. That is helpful, but I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. We can also buy just maximum number of health tonics we can get right now. This is Percy, who's a horse. That's his main character point. Also that he's apparently good with the ladies, at least for a horse. Plague Knight, my good friend. A moment of your time. How can I help you, Percy? I've run out of paper, and I can't fit any more ballistic formulae on my hoof. I'm in desperate need. Do you need glue as well? I know how you can make some. Oh, why, thank you, but just the paper will do. And by the way, looking for a bit forlorn lately. Maybe I'll repay your kindness with some love advice. And he starts doing this little horse jig. My ally, that's 4 sheets of paper you've brought me. 500 gold for each. He's essentially the bard equivalent in the potion area. Well, what is this folly? There's some sort of musical notation scribbled all over it. On both sides! There's nowhere for me to write. Useless! Into the trash bin it goes. Why do I even put up with this simpleton? That's a good question, but he throws the paper that he can't use into this creature known as Oolong. What is he? I have no fucking clue. Everyone works so hard down here. Yes, and Oolong wants to help. Can't help. Can make musics. But got tired. Fell asleep. Went awake. Forgot almost all musics. So sad. Poor Oolong. Well, think very hard. Maybe remember more musics. Then, I help. I help science. I do like Oolong though. So, he's essentially the other half of the bard where you can play all your music. And this is just all the music we've unlocked so far. The first 5 songs are unlocked automatically. Well, the first 4, I actually believe. Some mana are unlocked automatically, and then Percy will unlock songs at every 3 music sheets. Not every 3, every certain number of music sheets. So we've only collected 2 music sheets so far. No, we've collected 3. So we've unlocked 1 song, right? Because we collected 1 in the village. I had forgotten. Also, we collected 1 other over on the right side. You know what, whatever, there were buyers to explain this. I play by instinct. But anyway, that's basically everything here. Yes, we can also talk to all these dudes and, you know, torture them. They don't really say anything interesting, though, for the most part. But I got a little bit of money left over. I could buy a magic upgrade, but I think I'm instead gonna go for the tracer powder, because it could be helpful. So there's 3 different ways you can affect how your vials work. There's of course the casing, like the lob casing here, affecting how the vial itself moves. There's what the vial will do after it explodes. This leaves out 2 little green spiral things that will travel along surfaces. And then there's the fuse that affects what the explosion... not what the explosion is, but how it explodes, I guess? It's really hard to explain that one, but we don't have any fuses right now, so that's something I'll have to get into later. Anyway, that's that. We missed the music sheet here. Let's go find it. Oh, I know what it is. Duh. You're right, we can throw a vial into Oolong's head here, and out pops a music sheet, which causes Percy to do a jig. Another thing you can do is throw a specific powder into Oolong's head, and the effect he'll have is different. And when it turns into you, sharps, flats, time signatures, what's all this? I'll just write on the back. Oh, I nearly forgot. As I promised, a fitting reward. A romance tip from Sir Percival. Gently stroke her hair as you tenderly feed her some oats. Move slowly. Don't spook her. It's amazing that he can even dress himself, let alone dispense love advice. And you've gotten nothing new. Okay. Well, that's that for the village, and also the plants. And so, this episode. Next time, we head to our first order of no quarter in order to get their essences. Kind of lewd, if you think about it, but well, don't think about it. How about? And the first one we're going to be tackling is Spectre Knight at the Lich Yard. And yes, I finally learned how to pronounce that. It isn't Lich, it isn't Lick, it isn't Lich, it's Lich. It's not that hard. Me, from the past. Jesus. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.